And then like 1 week later, we're talking about pushing videos. So there's this guy, Mark 2. By that time it was Mark 2, MK Mark 2.
Yeah.
There's this guy, MK Mark 2, that I heard of from the CB.
Yeah.
This guy had like enough videos, you know what I mean? He had like Mark 2, when we watch, like when we try to watch Zambian Hip-Hop videos, especially like the guys who are doing their local stuff, find that Mark 2 probably pop up like 10, 20 times, he's got like videos, he's always shooting himself. So I was like, this guy, amongst the guys that I've seen that are shooting videos, he's the only one that got that hip-hop, that heart for hip-hop, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He did one song for Slap, the kind of black or something like that. He did the Slap and the song called the kind of black or or something. He's the one that shot that video.
Yeah.
So I linked him up on the Copper Bill. That's how come I linked him up in Chingola. I called him up, looked for his number and called him up in Chingola. I linked him up, then we went to work in Ndola.
Yeah.
And so it was such a positive energy type of environment. This guy was just willing to work. You know what I mean? Mark 2 was the type of person whereby he just wants to get the work done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I got him to Ndola before he could even get to meet the big man and charge the big man. You know what I mean? It was like, which song? This song, let's shoot. This song, let's shoot. So like before the big man could even talk money, it's like we charged ourselves. You know what I mean? Before the guy told us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was surprised. To my surprise, Mark 2 shot like it was my first time I had like videos for the whole album.
Wow.
He shot like the whole album in a week.
Hustler.
I'm telling you, man, the guy was working like 24 hours, man. He's just working. Mark 2, man. Respect. You know what I mean? He made it happen for me because we did the VCD. So we had the audio project and the VCD project. And in the space of like maybe 3 weeks, man.
Bro.
In the space of 3 weeks, we had like the audio and the VCD. And he even designed the album cover.
Wow.
For my album. I'm telling you, man.
Wow.
Mark 2 was just like the guy.
Wow.
So like, I was so surprised that Mark 2, after all that work that he did, I asked him, so like, how much are you going to charge the big man? I was like, those days was 2.5 million, like 2,500. So I was like, 2,500 only. This man is guy shackles. No, tell him 15. You know what I mean? Tell him 15. I just put him on. He got 15 from the body and gave me a 5. Wow. I was so surprised, man. I was like, this guy, man, he's so selfless. He just wanted to work, man. It's like the first guy that I met that was just all about the work. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't care about money, man.
Wow.
Like, no, you can give me 2.5. No, tell the body 50. I give 50. No, get the 5. So I was like, oh, Mark 2, man.
Wow.
So that's how we did the remix for one of my songs on the album and shot a video. The same Iwanina. So the first song that I wanted to record, that's the first song that we did. And then it was like Mark 2 became more.
Which version was it? Because you said the Jerry Fingers when you went.
The Jerry Fingers version.
Oh, the same one. Okay.
No. The Jerry Fingers one was a new version. Okay. Before Jerry Fingers had the version was the Crisis version.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. So we did the Jerry Fingers version in Mark 2 and the video too.
Okay.
But Mark 2 became like family. It was just like, it was more than work now. It was more like family. It was like brotherhood. That's how come. Remember you asked me earlier on about the documentary.
Yeah.
That's how come the documentary came about. You know what I mean? That's how we did the documentary. We just started like working, just whatever we could do, we were just doing it. You know what I mean? To a point whereby Mark 2 got interested in some of the stories. Like as being like a LSK guy. I had like people like I'll tell him about how LV jacked my style. Yeah. How what I mean? Slap all of a sudden is trying to diss me. Because. On the same year, it was 2007 or 2006. No, it was 2006. Mampi had done an album, Chimo ni Chimo. Yeah. I featured on that album.
On the album, yeah.
So when I featured on the album, it's like people were mistaking me for Slap D. Every time she had the media tour. Every time she go for an interview, people would be like, is that Slap D? And now she'd be like, no, that's Tommy D. And the DJs would be like, who's Tommy D? Then Mampi, on one interview, I remember she tried to explain, saying, no, Tommy D, that's the guy Slap D is copying. You know what I mean? And Slap D got offended. Yeah. But it wasn't really an offense that he took. He just knew that Mampi's shines were all about the Mampi and Nalu beef. Because when Mampi just like sprang on the scene, the smash song that she had was the reply to Nalu.
Oh, wow.
Remember Nalu had the Wakumbali and she did the Wakumbali and then there was that controversy. So Mampi was like the only controversial artist at that time. And Slap was trying to be hip-hop and he knew that controversy sells. So when Mampi just mentioned that simple thing on the radio, he went and redid the song that I featured on. and did the whole song alone, you know what I mean? And dissed Monkey. And that's how the beef began, you know what I mean? But the real beef, because on the low, even the same song of that song that Slap had done, I was the one that wrote it.
That wrote that.
You know what I mean? And he went and put it out. So there was that beef on the low, but he just wanted to, I'm sure he's got to obviously side of the story.
Yeah.
But the beef blew up. So when I was on the copper board and I was telling this to Maktu, Maktu got interested. I was like, Slap also owes me money for the same Tikonaway video. You know what I mean? So it was crazy like that. It just became like, man, Slap is found, man. How does he make my homeboy come all the way from the copper board and do a free video and go back with no money? You know what I mean? So, you know, on that tip, on just discussing, and you know, at the studio, getting high, drinking, all that stuff. So, Maktu made this beat, and then, you know, I came up with an idea. It was called Nicha. You know what I mean? So this song, it was like, I don't know, man. It was just crazy, man. It was just like flowing, man. One of those songs when you start doing the song, it's just flowing, man. It's just flowing. There's nothing like, I know this is what we're gonna sing about. You know what I mean? Didn't have a topic. And Maktu shot the video. And when you put out the song, little did you realize that song was actually like, it wasn't name dropping, but it was like a diss song in a way. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And that's how the beef just sprang up all of a sudden. For the second time, we're involved in another beef. You know what I mean? And this time, it made me look like a sellout because now I was on the copper bill. And now this is
LSK.
LSK, you know what I mean? All of a sudden, you know what I mean? So it was one of those. Me and Maktu had this relationship with just ideas. You know what I mean? I think even up to now, if I was to do a song with Maktu, we wouldn't even come up with a topic. We just like doing the stuff and it just flow. You know what I mean? So like to some extent, Maktu him started taking the beef personal. You know what I mean? Because Maktu also on the copper belt was in a territory whereby copper belt was more influenced. From a long time ago, copper belt has been influenced more of dancehall than hip hop.
I see.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he was like the pioneer of hip hop on the CD. You know what I mean? And for him it was different because it was like representing a whole province. When people talk about hip hop, they'll be like, MK Maktu, man, and his young brother is dope. You know what I mean?
Wow. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So Maktu and Slap D beef, I think it took off more of So Slap is a person he's a free spirit, man. He says whatever he likes, whenever he likes, you know what I mean? And I remember that, was it the Born and Bred Awards? When he said that, no, last year, Tinasamwa, now this year, Futitasa. Maktu took offense on that, and that's how the beef sprang up. And here's the beef going on between Copper Belt and LSK, you know what I mean? And I'm in the middle again somehow, you know what I mean? So it was crazy for me, and then I realized, because once upon a time when like this hip hop, especially during the Notorious B.I.G. and Tupac days, era, you know these guys, the Watchtower days, they had the Awaken about hip hop. They had a book about hip hop called The Awaken. Oh, jeez. I'm telling you, and there's this man who told me, you know, this thing that we're reading in these books, this thing written here, can happen anywhere, it can even happen here. You know, so I saw a situation like, you know, Copper Belt, LSK type of it was becoming
like becoming
serious,
real,
you know, like real, you know what I mean? It's the first time I saw somebody get beaten up over a song, you know what I mean? Like, Ukambachani, where, pa, 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 where the best, you know what I mean? Where the best Copper Belt run. So I was like, wow, you know what I mean? And that was like a position that I didn't want to be in, you know what I'm saying? So me, I was telling everybody, even on the CB, I was telling Maktu, we need to cool, man. We need to, you know what I mean? Zambian music industry is too small. We need to unite. We need to work until we get, you know, to be accepted, because we're getting to be accepted, and now this big thing. You know what I mean? And little did we know, Zambians themselves, they love beef. You know what I mean? Zambians are type of people. I'm telling you, man. Zambians are type of people who love beef. They love. Like, if you notice, a lot of the most of the songs that blow up in the industry, they're always like
confrontation.
You know what I mean? Even the R&B guys, you find that B1 is coming up to mass jams that are sounding like subliminal, you know, to the feelers. You'll be like, but it's a smash. You know what I mean? It's like that. Zambians love something that is not straightforward. They love parallel things. That's what, like, eventually, that's what they came to realize. You know what I mean? And then all along, when we're doing this hip hop thing, what we didn't realize is we're just not doing it parallel. You know what I mean? Because if we, from the start, start doing it parallel, it would have been hot from a long time
From a
ago.
long time
You know what I mean? So it's just like realizing that
Oh, yeah.
recently, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm moving fast forward after the Masese album. I did like 2 albums under One Love Studios. Till I got into some legal issues on signing the next deal for my album. Because this big man was here, he's a sponsor. He's funding my projects and seeing me become rich. You know what I mean? And they see me become rich, and there are some guys that I found at One Love Studio. These guys, they're still in the same position. You know, me, I'm touring the country, you know, I've got money, I'm stacking up money in my bank account. They wanted to renegotiate my contract. You know what I mean? They wanted to change it like abruptly, you know, like from the 30% that Marinian
that you had.
to like them getting 70. You know what I mean? Changing the conditions. So I was like, no, this can't happen. You know what I mean? There's no way. We need to think it over. So I refused to sign the contract. And after I refused to sign the contract, that record company sued me for 50 million kwacha back in the days. You know what I mean? Gave me a lawsuit for 50 million kwacha. Lucky enough, I was sued from Ndola, but I was a Lusaka resident. And looking at my age those days, because I was quite young, you know what I mean? It was one of those things whereby there's no way I can be traveling to Ndola for a court case all the time. You know what I mean? This big man, he had like, he was working, so his job was quite sensitive and he didn't want that. So that's how everything got squashed. I got lucky. You know what I mean? So after One Love Studio, man, and that law firm and all that stuff, that thing like kind of killed my mood. To a point,
it's a lot, man.
To sign,
it's a deals now.
You know what I mean? Deals. And ever since, that's how come I've been skeptic about deals. Till today, man, I never signed deals, man. I never signed deals, tell you the truth, man. I'd rather we just do something and, you know, we have a verbal agreement. Because when you sign deals, there's always some clause that you won't read. There's always be that line that you want. You know? That you won't understand, man. It's just that one line, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Huh? So I became paranoid about that. But you see, all this experience that I've had in the music industry, I look at it like, if, for example, we had somebody, like going back to now what I was saying about this initiative that you're doing, you know what I mean? We had somebody doing this from a long time ago, you know what I mean? Hip-hop would have been different. It would have been a very different ballgame.
Nowadays, we can learn from.
You know, nowadays, you have the, like, people that are doing the real hip-hop, or just the people that are doing hip-hop, getting disturbed. You know what I mean? Because it's like, the idea is just floated now. You know what I mean? You can come through, you know, Kalindula and rap, and then, you know what I mean? And claim you're doing it for the culture, you know what I mean? And usually it's those people that love the craft that get disappointed. Because there's, you know, when you love the craft and you're working on it, there's a certain way you expect it to come up. It's like when you plant a seed, you know what I mean? You plant like maybe cabbage seed, you know what I mean? You, of course, you'll be expecting cabbage. You know what I mean? But to your surprise, you planted cabbage and what you're getting maybe is green pepper, you know what I mean? You know that type of a thing. Huh? You plant a certain seed, then the fruit that's coming out is not what you expected. You know what I mean? And you know, when you talk like that, people will be like, sad. This guy is probably hating on somebody. You know what I mean? Or there's some guys that are doing it better than you, and then now they're catching feeling. But it's not like that. You know what I mean? It's just that, you know, let the cabbage be the cabbage. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And then also, like, I think, like, this initiative that you have should extend to the media houses. You know what I mean? Because media houses have got a tendency of, also, they have these new DJs. I don't know how they interview these guys, but they never do. These DJs just come on the scene. They don't research. They don't have any information or any background check. You know what I mean? They're just on the scene and they're on the radio. You know, the caller is requesting for something. It's like, who's that guy? No. That guy, you know, and this is a guy who's in the forefront. He's been trusted to be in the forefront. But the information, the level of information is so little. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? In the media houses. And then you have again in like, because of this, there's nothing like, Zambia, I think Zambian music industry is one of the music industries that are disorganized in a sense when it comes to recording how events happen. You know what I mean? We don't have like maybe 90s collection, you know, like, or maybe 2000s collection, or you know what I mean? Everybody just comes and just does them thing. You know what I mean? Huh? They just do their thing and it's a rap. You know what I mean? It's like people just want to reap from the industry without really giving back to the industry or really investing in the craft or, supporting trying to encourage the craft to grow. You know what I mean? Huh?
Yeah,
so there's that issue again. And then there's also a literacy issue where we have so many big artists, including myself, that will not have any interest maybe to go to school. You know what I mean? I don't know why it's like once you become popular, school is nothing. You know what I mean? A lot of people take it like that. Once you become popular, school is nothing. You know what I mean? But for you to understand what you're going into, I think you need some level. Exactly. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Huh? It's like we don't invest in education. That's how come there's a lot of things that happen around us because we are lacking knowledge. We don't know what it is. You know what I mean? Huh? We don't really know what it is. We're like, no, okay, it's okay. As long as I'm paid, it's okay. But you don't know the repercussion or the outcome or what's going to happen. You know what I mean? Huh? We've had artists whereby they do brilliant albums and sell it for less. You know what I mean? And then after selling it for less, it's their own decision. Like you do your album and decide I'm selling my rights. And you sell your rights and then the next day your album is blown up. It's the most happening thing. Then you start blaming maybe the publisher or you know what I mean, saying no, they stole from me. But it was your idea in the first place. They approached you, what's your offer? Because you didn't understand anything, you know what I mean? And because that's why I say knowledge is power. Because if you've got a bit of knowledge, you know that the first thing you do when you're given any contract is to research, ask people.
Exactly.
What do you think about this? Are people, music, like especially entertainers, we get lucky, we have with connections. We might have a friend who's a lawyer, might have a friend, you know what I mean? Huh?
Yeah, so just ask them, hey man, I've got this.
Exactly, but lack of knowledge will make you feel like, if I ask that person, they'll probably want a cut. So let me just go ahead and do this. You know what I mean? Do my thing and get paid. You know what I mean? And a lot of artists have lost out on bigger things because of that. Exactly. You know what I mean?
Bro.
It's crazy like that, man. It's crazy like that. The industry has really grown now. And right now, I think it's the best time to be alive. I remember the late Christo Shoni once told me, he said, ask what type of musicians were by. There's a time that will come when because when we started off back in the days, it was like irrelevant. What we're doing was just rubbish. You know what I mean? It was rubbish, man. Like compose the verse 1 for what? Verse 2, verse 3, we're trying to rhyme for what? You know what I mean? You know that type of thing. It's just now that fans will listen to more than just the beat and the chorus. Yeah. Back in the days, if you have a dope beat and a nice chorus, the song is a smash. It's now that people want to listen to the lyrical content, they want to know if the song has got a meaning or not. You know what I mean? And right now, people are interested. When you throw a function, they're turning up. You know what I mean? When you try to put out something, they're buying. Or you know what I mean? There's viewership, there's listenership, there's everything. You know what I mean? So right now, it's the best time, for the industry. But also it's the deciding time, you know what I mean? Like right now the industry has reached a point of decision, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Are we going to be existing in the next few years? Or this is the peak and now we're going to disappear? Exactly, you know what I mean? It's doing fine but has reached that stage now. Because right now you see there's endorsements, there's record deals, there's record companies. You know what I mean? They're not that many yet, but you see people having that confidence to say, okay, we can invest in the music. You know what I mean? This time is a time that a lot of musicians should now, wake up. You know what I mean?
Now is the time.
Wake up, you know what I mean? If you're not learned, at least, you know what I mean, hire a team, hire management, have somebody learned in your group, in your team, you know what I mean, to make the decisions on your behalf.
But if there's just one or two questions that I can ask, on some of the things that you said, I mean, you've taken us on such an incredible journey. But I guess going back to maybe the beginning days to understand one aspect of your love for the craft and your love for hip hop, I just want to know, is there something that you would say if someone says, what does Tommy D stand for musically? What would you say that is? Because I know there's one thing you touched on earlier, but I want to open the floor for you to...
No, because me, it's so simple, man. If you ask, somebody once told me, man, Tommy D is trying to take the ghetto to the Grammys. You know what I mean? when you see me in the way I carry myself, man, the first thing you realize is I've got a heart for the people. Not just for the people I listen to my music, but I realize like I can use my music as a tool to voice out for people, you know what I mean, in need, or especially like, you know, it's funny when I go to like shopping malls, most of the times what I've realized, even when I'm family or when I'm alone, it's the guys doing the work, the laborers that will say what's up to me compared to the people that are doing the shopping, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I realized like my
that's
music,
deep, bro. That's deep. No,
I'm
bro,
telling you, but it's real.
That's deep.
When I go
bro,
to the
that
shopping complex, man, I'll find that the
Bro.
people that are working, the laborers, are the ones that are shouting me out.
Bro, that's deep, man.
The people that are shopping, they don't even care. They don't
that's-
even know
bro.
me, man. They'll be like, is that Tommy D? Oh, okay. But you see somebody like, you know, maybe a cashier or something,
Yeah.
be like, they won't believe it. You know what I mean? They'll be like, Tommy D. You know what I mean? Huh? So that's what I realized, you know, like, it's true, man. I'm trying to take the hood to the Grammys. You know what I mean? I'm trying to move this music thing and I don't want anybody to remain behind.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? Huh?
Bro, that's bro. This I honestly don't know, man. You left me speechless, man. You said so much substance, man, and so much of depth and import that, you know, you've dropped a lot of knowledge, man. If I could maybe ask you, would you say that there is a top hip hop memory for you, just like personally, something that you felt like you touched on so much, man, and you covered so much ground, but is there anything that stands out for you where you're like, man, that is a top Zambian hip-hop memory for me personally, whether it's something you saw and witnessed or whether it's something that you are a part of personally? What would you say is something like that for you?
I think my top memory for hip-hop didn't really even happen in Z.
Okay.
You know, it was a guarantee that showed me that, you know, music or poetry has no language, you know. Mampi got me to Cameroon as just as a supporting act.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I was convinced that poetry has no language.
Yeah.
You know, no language at all. Because this guy is French-speaking country.
Yeah.
And you know, we're in the club and we're trying to perform for these people and they're expecting the performance, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's one of those things, you know, with hip hop, it's rare that you have dancers or dance moves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just
You're
gotta
going
speak to the
wrong.
people,
One
you know?
mic,
You just
that.
gotta go wrong, man.
Yeah.
But see, I had this beat, my traditional beat, the one that I use, like whenever I'm starting to perform, I put all the songs, I like perform all the songs like a cappella, or let me say live on the beat.
Okay.
Before I like perform the
Actual
studio version, the
studio,
actual songs, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when I started, you know, everybody was seated and I was like, that's what I'm here to do, you know what I mean? If they don't understand it, it's okay, but at least,
This is my,
you know what I mean? I've done what I came to do. So I just started performing, you know? I started performing, I started singing the masses on the bass, I sing the song, and you know, the vibe just started kicking out. And before I know it, everybody in the club was going wild, man. And for a moment, I forgot we're in Cameroon, man. I thought one of these joys.
Stronghold, Jackson. Give a stronghold up.
So I realized, like, it's the vibe that gets the people, you know? Because there's that instrumentation, there's the way the beat is going, and the vibe that you put on the beat, that's what communicates with anybody. You know, that's the reason why we can listen to, you know, Sakodi music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of guys that
rap.
exactly. You know, it's that vibe, you know what I mean? You just relate even if you can't. You know, it's like one of that saying that goes like, we can't understand what you're saying, but we know what you're saying. It's hard.
It's lit.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's when I realized, like, poetry has no language. And in fact, our music has got an element, especially Zambian artists, we've got an element that the world is looking forward to.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? We've got an element that the world is looking forward to because it's like our genres are, how can I say it? We're not limited. You know what I mean? Like in Z, just locally, if we had like a lockdown, like just for Zambia, we can't go outside or musical would be said. Because trust me, there's somebody that's doing a song that sounds like every style, you know what I mean? We are that versatile, you know what I mean? Huh? So there's that element that the world is looking forward to in Z. Because we're able to push any type of sound. You know what I mean? Any type of sound. Exactly. You know, any type of sound in Zambia, you find it.
I never honestly thought about that. That's a reframing. There's actually another aspect. I mean, speaking of genre and some of the things that you touched on earlier, I'm very curious. At the time, I know you've alluded to it, and and I can only imagine what it was like. You're saying that some people viewed what you were doing with, I guess, with eyes that said this is irrelevant, this is not important. You were kind of the underdogs as the culture, as the hip hop culture back then. That was being the underdog.
For real.
Would you say today, some people argue, and I'm curious on your perspective, that today hip hop is the top dog now from underdog? Is it the top dog now?
Hip hop is the top dog. You know the reason why? Because there's a lot of guys now that who used to be rappers and singing and want to get back to hip hop. Reason being, back in the days, it was more like the Z R&B featuring hip hop. But nowadays we have it's the rappers featuring the R&B guys.
The R&B.
You know what I mean?
Interesting.
And the rappers are making the bangers, even without the R&B guys. You know what I mean? Huh? They're making the bangers even without the R&B guys. Back in the days, you need to have a banger, you need to have a singer on your chorus. But before, you need to have a banger, you need to be featuring on a singing song. You know what I mean? So now it's changing. I wouldn't say we are, you know what I mean, the big dogs, but we are also there. You know what I mean? Okay. It's been accepted.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's been accepted. Like, people are selling out shows, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, they're doing hip hop. You know what I mean? Which was an impossibility back in the days.
Then,
man. Back in the days. Ask Crisis about it. Crisis will tell you, man, it was wild. You know? He'll try to do hip hop shows. People are not turning up, man. People are not turning up. And people, with Crisis, because he was doing the real hip hop, man. It was one of those things whereby they'll be like, cha busting, cha busting. If you're busting, you're not busting. But you don't understand what hip hop is about. You know what I mean? I could show Charambo to busting, you're not busting. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But nowadays, man, people are supporting, man. You know what I mean? People are respecting the culture, you know what I mean? Yeah. People understanding what hip hop is all about.
And I'm also really curious because, you seem like such a true and passionate and ardent student of the game, student of the hip hop culture. Were there other aspects of the hip hop culture? Because, I guess the 5 elements of hip hop, the breakdance, graffiti. Were there any, did you have any experience with some of these other aspects of hip hop when you were coming up?
Dance, yeah,
when you were in your early days.
Group. Yeah, it all starts, that's what I was saying. Back in the days, man, you need to research. You need to know what makes you hip hop. You know what I mean? You can't just rap and say you're hip hop. You know what I mean? You need to be in that graffiti, you need to be in the break dance, you know what I mean? You need to be a DJ. You know what I mean? If you're not a DJ, you need to understand what's going on. If you're not a graffiti artist, you need to understand what's going on. Or if you don't break dance, but you need to understand what's going on. You know what I mean? And those things will help you compose a song or come up with your song, and even the idea of what the video would look like. Compared to nowadays. Nowadays, very few people are putting out the videos the way they're supposed to be done. Reason being, there's not much inspiration from where they're from, you know what I mean? They just started doing this thing and they're just doing it, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Huh?
It's the microwave era.
Exactly,
man.
because sometimes, hip hop videos, the songs that will explain themselves, you write a song so well that the song will just explain itself. But there are some times when you need to shoot a video for the people to understand the song. Yeah. And sometimes that you need to create a dance for the people to understand. You know what I mean? Yeah. Exactly.
That's crazy. You're a fountain of knowledge, Mr. D. You've dropped gems, man. You've dropped so many gems.
Pleasure is all mine, bro.
Yeah. I guess, man, you've just covered so much ground. I'm even stunned. I don't even know what else to ask. But one question that I'd love to ask is, where do you, I guess this can be said in 2 different ways, but either where do you see Zambian hip-hop going from here, looking forward, or you can even say where do you hope it goes?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying right now. The game, when people, for example, if you've been trying to, you've been trying to get somewhere, and maybe for some reason you've been blocked, so maybe those are the reasons that have been hindering your progress to get where you want to get. You know what I mean? And you're finally given that opportunity. You know what I mean? I feel like that's a time that you need to go back to the drawing board, because this is a time when the music has been accepted for some reason. I don't know if it's to be criticized or maybe to be celebrated, you know what I mean? But most of the times it's to be criticized. Okay, let's see what these rappers, they've been fighting for a long time to be, you know what I mean, to be, let's see what they can do, you know what I mean? So this is the time to be smart about it. That's what I'm saying, like for us artists, a lot of artists, including myself, you know, like kind of education pushed it on the side. But it's a time when we need people who are educated in our circles, you know what I mean? If we're not the ones who are educated, at least there should be somebody.
Bring them, yeah.
You know what I mean? And we should pay attention to what they're saying, because knowledge, you know what I mean, will help this thing be sustained. You know what I mean? And will help even some artists to become, to go or even higher heights. You know what I'm saying? Huh? We can do the basics and just do a song and just blow up. Yeah. But that's not the end. Yeah. You need to now apply some knowledge so that you can, you know, it's only in Zambia, like, it's only you, I think, that are seeing, reaching out and doing this, working with these international guys, you know what I mean? International acts. But you see, to some of other artists, they don't even have such dreams. You know the reason why? They feel like, now that the music has been accepted, we've made it, we're there, you know? But I've been in situations, man. I've been to SA. In SA, man, I won't lie to you, Zambian music. And I'm not saying it like I'm trying to look down on the game. I'm just saying it the way it is. Yeah. Go to SA, man, there are very few people that have even the SA audience come to their shows. We just have these Zambian unions. It's the same guys, you know, they move to SA, they're living there, they've got unions, they're communicating the unions. When you go for a show, you find they're even, you know what I mean? They're even speaking the local language. They're not South Africans. Maybe one or two South Africans will come because, you know, friendship or, you know what I mean? Not that they love the music, you know what I mean? So, as much as it's been accepted locally, we need out there, man, there's a lot of work that needs to be done, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a lot of work that needs to be done, and it will take a lot of, you know what I mean? A lot of planning, a lot of, you know what I mean, knowledge input for us to go out there, because it's not only just money that can take us out there, you know what I mean? But we need to analyze the game, you know, here, there, what's really going on, how can we bridge the gaps, because those are now the real bridges, man, that we need to create, you know what I mean? Not these like, no, Copper Belt, Lusaka collaborations, man. We've done that. We've been doing that from the inception, you know what I mean? It's time for us to be out there, to go out there, man, and, you know, explore the world and see if there's a place for Zambian hip-hop in the world, you know what I mean?
So, man, if you just allow me to kind of home in on some things that you kind of touched on it already, but just to like give the chronology and the sequence of your projects. I believe you mentioned there are 3 projects, right?
3 projects, yeah.
If you could just walk us through the years they came out, and then maybe, and if there's any that you feel is like your Illmatic or
no, for real, you know, like the first, like I say, at Sling Beast 2020, that was 2004. 2005.
Okay.
That the compilation, I was on it. Then 2007, I did my debut album.
Okay.
It was entitled Mafasho.
Mafasho, yeah.
That one I feel like that's my Illmatic.
Illmatic,
yeah. Because that album is, you know, I was surprised how like the way I like planned it and the way it came out to 2 different things, you know what I mean? I planned my first album to be like a real hardcore album. Yeah. But, you know, I had these really hardcore lyrics that were like, how can I say it? Like that was smooth and
I see.
You know what I mean? Or made commercial.
Yeah.
Because I like, that album had like the most appearances even on my first album.
Yeah.
I had like songs with, you know, Chameleon. I had songs with Ranel. I had Mampi. You know, I featured a lot of people on that one. Then I did my second album. My second album was what I wanted to be my first album. You know what I mean? Because on the first album I had so much creative control over it. You know what I mean? It's like these guys who were working on this second album, they just wanted me to just be me and do me. You know
this was the Copper Belt project, right?
Yeah, the Copper Belt project. It was Hardcore, part 1, and then it was entitled Masese. Yeah. It was a smash, and then, you know, I did like 2 albums in 1 year. I did the Masese album, then I did the Fakapo Mbasela, Hardcore part 2.
Okay.
And those are the 3 albums in the sequence. So I was like, Masese came out towards the end of 2009.
Okay.
Then early 2010, I put out the other album.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did 3 albums. Then Ever since I've just been putting out singles. Yeah, and just making appearances.
No, I hear it. Mafasho's the Illmatic, huh?
Mafasho's my all-time favorite. I won't lie.
No, that's awesome, man. That is awesome. And I guess proceeding from there, another thing that I'm very curious about is, I guess, you painted a picture of the environment and what it was like, and how, again, you know, people were obviously looking down on hip hop as a genre. It wasn't really the most appealing, wasn't the most commercially viable. Yeah. So what was maybe the biggest challenge you had to overcome as a hip hop artist, and how did you kind of hack the system or finesse the game such that you managed to become Tommy D, even in that environment where it was like,
because I think exactly. Because the hardest thing was to put out an album.
Yeah.
Because even if you record an album, how are you going to put it out if people are always looking down on it? You know what I mean? So that was the hardest thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, my first album is my Illmatic, because I planned it that way, but the way it came out was so commercial. Up to now, people want the old album. You know, I have been like fellow artists that tell me, man, my favorite album was your first album. Reason being, there were two minds involved. There was my mind and then Raniel's mind also. Yeah. But I think how I managed to get, because, you know, funny thing with that album, I didn't even have videos. I never even had, not even one video from my first album. But, you know, it was moving units. And then the thing that I realized is, you know, the old way of promoting songs, because those are times when there was no social media. You know, one thing I would like to say, even to like people that are trying to get into the game, you know, there's the new way where you use social media to promote your songs, and you know it's working. But the old way is the truth, man, because the old way had, like, you know, that direct. If it's a radio interview, you are there and you're speaking and people are able to hear you. You know what I mean? Nowadays, social media, there's a lot of people that are having like managers doing that thing. So it's lacking that genuine, touch, you know what I mean? That personal touch, you know what I mean? So the old way of promoting, I think, really helped me, because I made sure I was everywhere, man. I was on the radio stations, on the TV station, interviews. I did not have any music videos, but I was getting in numbers. You know what I mean? I was getting in numbers. And the secret is to never leak your music before you can put it, like, you can get it copywritten. You know what I mean? You can have songs and then you get excited over your song and you want to put it out, because people, they don't understand music. They'll be like, if I have a good song today, maybe if I keep it for too long, for 5 months, it will lose value. But what you don't know is, if nobody has heard it, in music, you're never late. You know what I mean? It will just be the same. You can keep a song, you did it like 4 years ago, but if nobody has heard it, it will just be the same, you know? And that's what a lot of artists, they fear. They'll be like, if I keep this song and then these guys are doing songs, then somebody will come up with a better song. If you've done a song and it's nice, the music can never late. So just make sure you do the groundwork, the paperwork. I think paperwork is what even helped me finesse the game, because I made sure, you know, if Raniel to seriously paperwork, sign here, I'm getting this percentage, that's it. So if you're gonna be 10 hours appointment, it has to be 10 hours appointment. You know what I mean? If it's 15 hours, you gotta be on point. You know what I mean? Those are the things that help. I think those are the things that helped us even, you know what I mean? Because as far as people say, my rappers, if no boasting, I say, if no stabwan. So muzaona, tikacheza 10 hours, so brother 15. Then, you know, you just surprise them and, you know, tell you they're 9:50. You know what I mean? You're they'll be like, okay. Hey, you know what I mean? They'll be like, oh, you Monto. I think that's very serious. I'm serious. You know what I mean? And, you know, seriousness is what makes, I don't know if it scares.
I see.
It scares away hate, you know what I mean? Seriousness just scares away hate, man. Bro, if you just take your program, you just punctuate your program. I'm telling you, man, you'll be surprised where the respect will come from.
You're such a wise guy, bro. No, man. I take my hat. I'm taking my hat off. Guys, no trophy, man. Seriousness scares away hate.
What? For real.
Bro, I know
people look down on you if you're not serious. You know what I mean? But once the moment you just become serious, even the people at home, you find even the people at home, they'll change their attitude. You know what I mean? They'll be like, you know what I mean? Because everybody wants to know where a serious person is gonna end up. There's nobody, you know what I mean? Everybody wants to know, okay, this person is serious about this. Where is it going to end up? So they'll give you that the audience that you want. You know what I mean? They'll You know what I mean? You get the support that you need.
Bro.
For real.
Bro, you've really dropped gems, man. And it's funny because the next question I was gonna ask you, I in a way you've tackled it, but just in case, I'll just make it explicit. I was just gonna say if there's anything that you would say to like a younger artist coming up, but that in a way, you kind you kind of
it's simple, straightforward. You know what I mean? You just gotta be serious. You know what I mean? And seriousness doesn't mean you have to change your face or you know what I mean, walk in a certain type of way. No, man, seriousness, make sure you stick to the program, man. You know what I mean? Do the thing the way it's supposed to be done, the way you planned it to be done. You know what I mean? Exactly. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean you're serious, man. You know what I mean? Make a funny face and walking some type of way. That's not serious. You know what I mean? I mean, people be like serious. Zereka no kamba.
Bro, yeah, no, man, you've honestly, man, you've dropped nothing but gems, man. Honestly, bro, no, seriously, man. Bro, no, respect on 100,000, man. Honestly, bro, you're an asset to the game, you know, and I'm honored to have been able to sit down and just talk with you and learn from you. Man,
I really appreciate it, man.
Honestly, man.
I really appreciate it.
Honestly, bro. So, you know, I've heard everything you said. I'm going to reflect on what you said. And I hope that the young minds out there, you know, because that's how I, you know, take it, chew on it, think, man, you know, I learned something and this is how I'm going to move or this is what I'm going to do because at the end of the day, this is for posterity, as they say, for those who, you know, those to come, man. So, bro, I'm honored, man. Thank you.
The pleasure is all mine, man.
Man,
thanks for having
guys,
me, man.
I don't even know what to say,
much.
man. I'm speechless. It's been another amazing episode of Zambian Hip-Hop history, and I've had the most incredible and insightful conversation with the legend himself, Tommy D. I'm so grateful for his presence. Thank you so much, sir.
Man. Thank you very much.
Nothing but respect.
Salute.
Peace.